Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition, no matter what that condition is, to know beyond the shadow of a doubt, you do have a voice, you have a community, you're never alone. And I just want to talk about just for a second. I want to invite you to visit our other sites. We have a wonderful nonprofit organization that helps with the invisible condition I was born with, which is called hydrocephalus. That site is hydrowithhope.com. Go over there and you can learn about all the cool things we're doing for the hydrocephalus community there. And we also have a site that's going to be launching a community that's going to be launching in March called Star Mastermind. And Star Mastermind is going to be something to help people that, I love having guests on this show. And there's so many people that have been on my show that are also on other shows, other podcasts, other TV shows, and they want to learn how to do it better. I don't know it all. And so I invite other people from the industry, from the TV industry, from the podcast industry, from the lighting industry, all the things to make you appear best on the show that you want to be on. So, and then also, if there are anybody out there that would like to get the word out about what they're doing through advertising on our show, I would love to talk to you. We broadcast to an amazing audience that would love to hear your message. So, looking forward to seeing you there and meeting you. So, I have Stephen Rodriguez with me today, and he's amazing. And we're going to be talking about autistic spectrum disorder with Stephen. I'm going to let him introduce himself, though, because he knows him better than anybody. So here we go. Stephen, good morning. Thank you so much for being here, man. I appreciate it.
Hi, Jeff. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So go for it. Tell us a little bit about yourself. And what are we talking about today?
Okay. So my name is Stephen Rodriguez. I am an entrepreneur. I've been in various businesses now for about the last 20 years, something like that. I guess it's been about 20 years or so. Oh, wow. It has been 20 years. Anyway, time flies when you're having fun, right? And I was diagnosed with ASD, autism spectrum disorder, as an adult. And going through life, knowing something was different was really interesting, because I would always be awkward in certain situations, always awkward around people in certain ways, go off on tangents. And Jeff, at any point I go on a tangent here, you're more than welcome to redirect me. Just a bunch of different things, a bunch of different things. And it was quite the shock when I was diagnosed, because this was invisible, forgive the pun, to me in my entire life. But there were definite signs and there were definite things. And it has presented a lot of beautiful things and a lot of interesting challenges. And so that's me in a nutshell.
Nice. I love it. And that's beautiful. I love the way you look at it. There's some people that get diagnosed with something, whatever it is. Really, there's so many things out there that are invisible that people would never know somebody has by watching them walk down the street. And it really is. Your attitude is the only thing you have 100% control over. And so, I applaud you for rocking it, man, with despite having a condition that can really turn some people's worlds on its head. So, well done. You're married, yes?
Yes, I am.
I think I remember us talking about that. You're married. How's that been on the marriage family front?
Oh boy. Initially it was a shock. But what was funny was my wife and I were in counseling. We had and I'm a pretty open book. So one thing about ASD is you don't always know what you should or shouldn't say. And I've kind of learned to be pretty unfiltered now, because I'm like, oh, well, with me, what you see is what you get most of the time. My wife and I actually lost a baby in 2017. And so we had been going to counseling around that loss and the trauma that came from that. And when I was diagnosed, we were with our counselor, and I was presenting the paperwork, and he asked my wife, he says, so how do you feel about that? She goes, I have known you. Let's see, at that point, what was it? 15 years or something. I have known you 15 years.
Yeah.
And I knew there was something up. It was at first I thought she was going to say something like he's faking it, or it's not real, or it's all in his head kind of a thing. And
Yeah.
I think that's the slogan for your show. It's not all in your
It's
head.
not
Right?
all in your head, though. It's
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. But instead of saying that, she instead said, I knew there was something there. And I was like, oh, okay, well, at least she doesn't think I'm faking it. Like everyone else that I've been talking to in my life, other family members, friends, are like, are you sure? I'm like, I only spent time and money to try and figure out what was happening and how this thing's wired.
Right.
So
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. That's no, you're good. No, that's I mean, of course it impacts your marriage. That's how it works. That's how every invisible condition works. It's part of you. It's part of mine, is part of me. It's impacted mine too. And it's just how it works. And so that's why I love our sponsor. We've got an amazing sponsor, Dunamis Marriages. And struggling marriages often lead to dramatic sense of disconnection from your spouse, and that can lead to, can seem suffocating. It's not always, but some can seem that way. Even if your marriage is doing pretty well, there is a way for you to thrive no matter what. Dunamis Marriages believes that God designed marriage to be lifelong, heart connected. It's a journey, and they're here to help you get there. Located in Colorado Springs, their faith-based marriage intensives have an 83% success rate, guiding couples through deep emotional healing and lasting transformation. I'm going to say that again. 83% success rate. That's huge. Why is that huge? Because most marriage counseling has about a 10%, less than 10% success rate, leaving broken hearts and marriages in the wake. So, led by Dr. Pauline Dillard, who brings over 42 years of marital wisdom, their marriage intensives are different. Typical marriage counseling is more of a once a week for an hour kind of thing. That's the model they use, and it can last for years. And in the end, really, it doesn't get you anywhere sometimes. The intensive model Dr. Pauline uses brings couples together. Each session lasts about 2 to 3 hours and is conducted over 5 to 6 sessions. So it's usually about a 5 or 6 week process. The time you invest in a marriage intensive will combine biblical truth with proven psychological principles to restore communication, trust, and intimacy. At Dunamis Marriages, they don't just treat symptoms. They equip you with the tools to build a thriving Christ-centered marriage. If you're ready to break free from frustration and rekindle that relationship God's way, act now. Visit Dunamis Marriages today. That's DUNAMAS marriages.com, and take the first step towards a stronger, more fulfilling marriage. But, build your marriage on a solid foundation and enjoy your spouse like you never thought possible. So, all right. So let's take that down off the screen. All right, Stephen. So around here, we talk about hope a lot because, especially with Invisible Condition, hope is what carries us some days. It literally carries us through the day. So, Stephen, for you, on those hard days, when you feel like your condition is at its worst, what is the one thing that continues to give you hope?
That is a really good question. A lot of people get mad at God for the things they can't control. And a lot of people get mad at God for the condition that they feel they have been unjustly granted. And they actually feel this intense sense of injustice. Like, God, why did you let this happen to me? Why did you give this to me? Why did you make this happen? The big thing that brings me hope is some of the most important people in history all had these invisible conditions that no one knew about, no one thought about, no one perceived them to have because they looked quote unquote normal. and like it happens all the time with ASD because like people are like, well, you're well spoken. I'm like, okay. And they go, aren't you autistic? Yes. Why are you well spoken? I'm like, because it's a spectrum of things. It's not like it's a kaleidoscope. It's not a line. I'm not more or less functional. I am just a variety of different things that present themselves, which create this condition. But what brings me hope is that, for example, like in the Bible, there's this guy named Moses, right? And Moses has a massive stuttering problem, and so he always talks with stutter. I used to stutter, actually, when I was a kid. It was like I don't know. My parents didn't notice lots of things where it's like you should get him looked at anyway. But Moses spoke with this very intense stutter, and of course, people looked at him like this guy's kind of stupid because he stutters. And yet, when he is before God at the burning bush, God tells him, "Who made the lame, the deaf, the mute, and the blind? Did not I? Now go." And what God was saying was like, look, you are not the most capable person. That's the point. That's actually the point. You're not the most capable person. And yes, I did create you this way. Yes, I did allow you to experience this. Yes, I did give you this condition because through it, you would save lives. Through it, you would expand my message of love and hope across the world, and it will echo across generations. So yes, this is on purpose. And that's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow because they want to control their lives. They think that they're in control, which is the biggest illusion of all. You are in control of nothing. You are in control of absolutely nothing. There is no control. There is just the surrender to what is. And if you can learn to surrender to what is and let God just do what he's going to do through you, for you, and around you, it really winds up being a much more simple, more beautiful, more hopeful life. So there's my 10 cents.
Yeah, no, 100%. I love that. And it's true. You know what I've always been told is you only have control. The only thing you have 100% control over is your attitude. That's it. And that's just basically the response to whatever God does in your life. You know, if you think you have more control over that, it's going to be a rough time.
You don't.
Yeah. You really don't. You don't.
You absolutely do not.
Yeah. Surrender is a key word in my life a lot, you know, whether it's because of surgery or because of diagnosis or because of whatever. It's like, look, man, you don't have any control when they put you on that table and put that mask on to get you under for surgery, just in the same way that you don't have any control of what God gave you and what but you know, he still expects great things, which is why he equips you, which is why he equips me. So that's the beautiful thing. That's part of hope too. I love it. Yeah, that's so cool. So, hey, let's dive in, man. So, okay, autistic spectrum disorder. That is something that I don't know a ton about. I think I know something about it. Okay. You know, which is the case with a lot of conditions. A lot of people out there think they know stuff about it, but they really don't. So, but how did you find out? When did you find out?
Let's see. I believe it was May of 21, if I remember correctly.
And just recently, 2021. Like, yeah, just geez. Okay.
Oh yeah. Wow. Oh yeah. May of 21. And what happened was my staff, were always like, "Are you on the spectrum?" I'm like, "What?" Because they call it spectrum, right? And they're like, "Yeah, you're on the spectrum." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Well, you have these quirks. You have these things that you do." And I'm like, "Okay, but doesn't everybody do these quirks, these things?" Right. No. And I'm like, so blew it off, right? Well, one of my C-level guys, he's like, "Hey, you probably should get this looked at. There's something going on, and I think that it would help you and help your family and help your life and just help you in general if you kind of got a handle on what was actually happening." And I'm like, no, there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing there. And this was in March of 21. Used to be a TV show called The Good Doctor. It's about this autistic physician. And I remember there was this episode where he's Dr. Murphy. He's talking to this neurologist that clearly has ASD. Okay. And so he's like, you have ASD. And he's like, no, I don't. He's like, you have your mug as comfort. And like, he's doing all these things, like pointing out to the neurologist, like you are on the spectrum. And so he provides him with all these tests and says, look at the RADSAR, look at, see, it was RADSAR, it was CAT-Q. There was just these different tests. And the doctor's like, no, because I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me, right? Like, look at me. I'm a doctor kind of thing.
Sounds like a doctor.
And,
Sounds like something the doctor would say. Yeah.
Right. And so then so the doctor winds up taking it. Well, I had this moment, this thing that hit me like, I need to write these down. So I went back on the stream, and then I started writing down like these different names and everything. And I went my phone. And then I started taking some tests, and I was like, all right, well, let me look at this one, let me look at this one. And it was like, one of them was like, you have a 70% chance of being on the autism spectrum. You should be evaluated. And then I took another test. You should be evaluated. Another test. You should be evaluated. I took so many tests, and they all said the same thing. You should be evaluated. Yeah. And I sat back going, okay. And I told my wife, I'm like, hey, there might be something happening with the wiring here. I probably should get evaluated. And she looks at me and she's like, okay, that's weird, but fine. Right. And I said, okay. So she decided to go along with it. Right. And so I next day went to the office, talked to my staff, got online, tried to find a psychiatry office that would do the evaluation. Found one, and they're like, well, it's going to be a few months. And I'm like, well, golly, man, like I kind of need some answers right now, because there were immediate problems that were surfacing. There were immediate things happening in my business that were problematic as a result of this particular neurology, right? And finally I was like, oh my gosh, okay, fine. So let's just go with it, right? Well, then I got a call, probably, I don't know, about an hour later. Hey, Mr. Rodriguez, we found some time to put you on the calendar. Would you like to come in for your evaluation? And I went, yes, I would very much like to come in for my evaluation. Great. Why don't you come to the office here on this day, this time, and we'll get you evaluated. And I'm like, all right, let's go. Right. Let's go. Well, I went in, talked to this nice psychiatrist, and he was taking me through all of the things, all the stuff, all the bells and whistles, and took me through this really intensive 6-hour evaluation. And interviewed my mom, interviewed my wife, interviewed a bunch of people, asked about different tendencies that I had as a kid, different kinds of sensitivities to lights, sounds, and I had all these sensitivities. I mean, I was hypersensitive to everything. It was like, I mean, even now, my joke is I didn't realize that everyone did not live such a tortured existence.
Yeah.
Because everything, and I mean everything, is either too loud, too bright, too intense, everything, right? Everything. And so, I mean, I would have earplugs constantly, just put them in, or for example, I only found this one out recently, that when I was a kid, I would go like that.
Yeah. Yep.
And I was actually stimming.
Oh.
Or like one time my wife and I had an argument, because, marriages never have arguments. And so that was weird.
What? Come on.
I know, right? And also, small tangent, people think that autistic people don't understand sarcasm. We can use it. We do have a hard time understanding when it's coming at us. So using it isn't a problem. Understanding when it's coming at us can be. Anyway,
gotcha.
So I remember one time my wife and I had this big argument, and I caught myself, and this is where I was like, okay, this is involuntary, right? I was in the closet like this, and I was like this, and I'm like, what am I doing? But I couldn't control it, right? Yeah. And there was just all these different things like that. It would be like, I'd be like there, and I'd be like this, and then it'd be like rocking and there. But these were usually moments of intense emotion.
Sure.
Otherwise it wouldn't manifest itself. It wouldn't be a thing that I would do. Anyway, so finally I get this evaluation. They're like, congratulations, here's your autism card, and be fruitful and multiply. There was zero help for anything after that.
Oh my goodness.
There's almost no resources for adults on the spectrum.
Wow.
Like almost
Wow.
none. I mean, there was, and I thought, oh, there's going to be help. Maybe I can get help financially. Maybe I can get help to help organize. Maybe I can get help around how to navigate this thing I call my brain. And I literally ran through probably about 10,000 different conversations, and literally 10,000 conversations over the years, because that's what's called an eidetic memory. So the eidetic memory means that I can remember things it's almost photographic, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
So I was going through all these conversations about, wait a minute, I was awkward here. Wait, this happened there. Wait a minute, they were trying to tell me this. Wait a minute, they were trying to tell me that. And it was just like this, like, it was this, yes, and traumatizing beyond belief.
I bet.
Because I saw so many moments in my life where I was like, now I see why the person thought I was rude.
Yeah.
And I wasn't being rude. I just didn't understand what the conversation was, or what we were actually trying to arrive at, or what we were actually talking about. I can see where this person thought this, where this person thought that. And it was so eye-opening and frustrating and painful. The pain of just diagnosis. And then even my wife at the time, she had said, not my wife at the time, my wife at the time said, there's the comma.
Punctuation's important.
Exactly, right. She told me, she goes, you threw out the rule book that we had for communication. And then I told her, I said, I didn't throw the book out. I wasn't communicating.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I wasn't talking. I didn't realize that I wasn't voicing. I didn't realize that I wasn't expressing. I didn't realize that I actually wasn't saying things. It was complete blindness. And I remember I felt so vulnerable, because that was probably the time in my life that I felt the most vulnerable ever.
Sure.
Because I realized that I thought I was catching 80 to 90% of human interaction. I was only catching 10 to 20%.
Yeah.
And then I realized, I'm like, wait, am I susceptible to people that are predatory? Am I susceptible to people that are potentially dangerous?
Yeah.
And then realized later on, yes. Also, because especially for the autistic people tend to attract narcissists.
Man. Yeah.
And the reason why we tend to attract narcissists is because the narcissist, depending on the type, and I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, so I'm going based upon my limited knowledge here, but my understanding, and if any of listeners are like, oh, he's wrong about that, please correct me, because I don't mind being wrong and being corrected, right? But my understanding is that the reason why a narcissist is attracted more to an autistic person is because as autistics, we seem so steady and so like level that they're like, wow, this person can like ride on my wavelength, this person, or I can control this person, or I can use this person. Right. They can serve my purposes. That's also a big one too. This person can serve my purposes.
Right.
More on that later.
But yes. Well, I'll tell you what, we're gonna pause for just a second and take a break. I think I love that you said more on that later, because I think we're definitely going to dive into that in the second segment here. Let's take a break, and then we will be back in just a couple of minutes, and then we can dive into all of that, because there is so much more to talk about and so much more to cover. So, and by the way, thank you for watching, everybody. If you ever have any questions about anything for Stephen, if you're listening to this and going, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on E360, Facebook and YouTube have a really easy way to just comment, ask a question, say, hey, I want to reach out to Stephen. I want to talk to this guy. What some of the stuff he's saying is ringing a bell, man. I'm getting light bulb, and things you're resonating with me. I got to ask some questions. Reach out. Just comment in there, and we'll get you guys in touch. We'll get Stephen in touch with you, and we'll go from there. So, all right, everybody, stick around. Do not go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss the rest of this story. So we'll see you in just a couple minutes.
Hey everybody, Craig Tomanini here, founder and CEO of Ask Craig T, and I wanted to do a quick reminder about our podcast every Friday, 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. You can find us on YouTube and on all of our social media platforms, so be sure you tune in. Don't miss all the valuable information we're going to give you about how to scale your business using technology.
Are you a change agent? You're going to love the Superpowers for Good show. I'm Devin Thorpe. Every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 11 Eastern, I host an inspiring change maker on Achieve TV. Join us right here on E360 TV.
Hey, everybody. Oops, that's not the right one. That's the right one. There we go. I want to talk to you about, welcome to Live TV, everybody. Here we go. I want to talk to you about InvisibleCondition University. ICU, yeah, we did that on purpose, by the way. ICU. InvisibleCondition University empowers you to face whatever invisible condition you or a loved one may be facing by providing a community that listens, that cares, that walks with you, no matter what you're going through, no matter where you are in the process. You'll be part of a community that meets twice a month, so that you can have a safe place for you or your loved one to ask questions, get support, just find hope. Hope is a big deal in this invisible condition world. This is something I wish I would have had 10 years ago when my wife and I were mostly on our own when facing my health challenges. I've had, in the last 10 years, I've had 4 brain surgeries and 2 others that were related to the condition that brought me to the brain surgeries. It's been a busy last 10 years, and that support would have been huge. InvisibleCondition University is only $17 a month, and you can find us at InvisibleConditionUniversity.com. In fact, as my gift to you, you'll receive your first month for free on me. That's InvisibleConditionUniversity.com. Scan that QR code right there for more information. And the next time we will meet for Invisible Condition University will be April 4th. And so I can't wait to see you there. And let's bring Stephen back and continue the conversation here. All right, Stephen. So you said more on that later.
Later.
We're later. Let's do it. Let's.
Oh boy. Hindsight is 2020, right?
Of course.
And you've that saying's a very common saying. Hindsight is 2020 because there are things you realize in hindsight that you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't see that. And if I had seen it, everything would have been great. Because I didn't see it, things were not great. Things didn't turn out so great. And actually, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life now that things didn't turn out great. Whatever. Anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what happened with me in terms of like the attracting of a narcissist, I had a business partner. Now this is before I knew I was autistic. So this was like, once again, hindsight's 2020, like, I missed this sign. Oh, I missed that sign. Oh, I missed this thing. Oh, I missed that thing. Oh, that makes sense now. It was a bunch of that. So here's what happened. So it was 2017, around June, and my wife was pregnant with our 4th child. And she went to go get a sonogram, and there was no heartbeat. And that was like the worst day ever. My sister-in-law called me because she was with my wife because they were going to go do a gender reveal, Star Wars themed. I'm a little bit of a Star Wars fan. Anyway, my sister-in-law calls me just crying, and she's like, I'm so sorry. That's all she could say is, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I knew, this is going to be bad. So I went to the birthing center just to go figure out, okay, what can I do? How can I be of support? How can I help? What do you do with this? Right.
Yeah.
And as I walk into the birthing center, I see my wife, she's crying. We go get a confirmation. Oh no, that was the confirmation. Actually, that was the confirming ultrasound, because first she was going to another office and they said, go to your primary care. And then she went to primary care. And then so they were like, that's it.
Yeah.
And so that was terrible. And anyway, so we went through the whole process of birth, because we had to, about maybe a week later, I think is what it was. And that part's actually really blurry for me because it was very traumatizing. And yeah, gave birth to a little boy who could have been viable. And it was not to be. We named him Jonathan Santiago, and did a memorial for him and all that. Well, after that, I was pumping gas in my wife's car, and she was at her parents', and we're just, dealing with all the emotions that come with that kind of loss.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was putting on my seatbelt, and this is at night. Bees don't typically come out at night, but a bee stung me right here.
Oh my goodness.
I went like this and just I squashed it. It stung me, and then I just yelled at God. I was like, "Come on, God, throw me a bone." I mean, I yelled it really loud.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I got a phone call, golly, about 20 minutes later. And it was this guy that I knew from college. And I had made a commercial for a roofing business prior to that. And he had seen the commercial. He's like, "Hey man, I saw your commercial. I think it's great. Why don't you come up here to Rockport, Texas, and help me? Like, let's make a marketing company. You obviously have skills. I have contacts, and maybe we could do something together." And I said, "That'd be great." Well, long story short, and it's a long story. Hurricane Harvey barreled into Rockport.
Oof.
The original thing that we thought on the forecast was that it was going to go through where I live first.
Yeah.
Much more south. Well, the course changed kind of at the last minute and beelined it for Rockport, which is in the coastal bend near Corpus Christi, Texas. And when that happened, I left my camera equipment at his house because I thought that I thought it would be safer there. Well, it turns out that was like the bullseye. And so my equipment conveniently went missing. But what started happening was things started souring very quickly because he was trying to control things and I wasn't able to be controlled.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was I just didn't realize that he was trying to control the situation. I thought he was just having a lot of bad days. There's the autism, right? And so I'm like, oh, he must be just like in a really rough patch in life right now. And the whole time it's like, no, this person is trying to hurt you. I found out later he had threatened to beat his wife, and much later he tried to put his stepson's head through a window.
Oh my goodness.
Vehicle. He's not a good person.
No. Okay. That's not great.
And and I got him on a recording where he's like, I'm not going to give you your stuff back because you owe me, or it was a bunch of stuff like, and I didn't owe him anything because I had funded almost everything and was also driving and the whole thing, right? So he's like, you owe me. It was bad. Anyway, so he doesn't give me my stuff back. I file a police report. They do nothing.
Yeah.
When I had recorded conversations, text messages, him saying that he's stealing it. Like, he basically said, like, I'm stealing this.
Ugh.
And they're like, okay. I'm like,
get to work, guys. Come on.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
My tax dollars at work.
So,
it's like, thanks.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
it sounds like to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, if this is characteristic of ASD in general, or if this is just your personality, but it sounds like you're kind of an eternal optimist. Like it's like, no, he doesn't want to hurt me. He's just trying to help. He's doing, like, I mean, I'm the same way. I'm kind of naive in a lot of things too, or I was at one point, and it I don't know. For me, that's kind of just my personality. Is that would you say that's characteristic, or everybody, or just you?
We come in so many different flavors.
Yeah, sure.
That I don't know. But for me, I've learned since that there's a lot of things that I'm not catching.
Yeah. So it's not like you're not. It's not that it's not naive. It's not. It's you're not naive. It's just you don't. It just doesn't occur.
I'm not catching it.
You're just not catching it.
I'm just not catching it. And so it's yeah. So it well, that happened, and
That's rough, man.
Well, but wait, there's more.
Yes, of course. But wait, there's more.
Exactly. So after that, we parted ways.
Of course.
He claimed my stuff was stolen. He filed a false police report, allegedly stating that it was stolen. When years later, his now ex-wife, brings some of the bags that my stuff was in. She's like, "Was this yours?" And I'm like, "Yes." When he had reported that item stolen. And it's right there. So then I thought, we got him. I go to the sheriff's department. Look, he false police report. And they're like, "Sorry, the wrong report was filed by the deputy. We can't do anything."
Come on.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Come on.
With no justice.
Can
whatsoever.
Something go right, please? Yeah.
And it didn't. But but it's funny because people would look at that and say, "Well, I thought you prayed God throw me a bone, and why did everything get worse?"
Yeah.
And the reason why it got worse was, this is going to sound so weird, and I know this is going to be controversial, and someone's going to hate me for it, and I really don't care.
Comment away. Bring it on.
Yeah. If God thinks that you going through a situation is going to make you a better human, he's going to let you go through the situation so you can be a better human. And he's going to give you an opportunity to become a better human through the situation if you just let him.
Yeah.
People don't want to hear that. That's not, it's like, what do you mean? Why would God let me do this? Why would God let that happen? Because he is trying to build you and prepare you for what's to come.
Right. Well, and sometimes there's lessons you got to learn, and he's the only one that can teach you. And if you don't learn it, it's coming back,
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So was this one of the most painful times of my life? Yes. Well, then I got insurance, took care of camera equipment, everything else. Great. Fantastic. I made another commercial because it actually snowed in our area. And we're in deep South Texas. We don't get blizzards, and we actually had like a mini blizzard. And we're talking, we got like 2 inches of snow in my yard. It's like white, and you can
that part of Texas. That's a huge deal.
Oh yeah, no, it hadn't done that in 20 years, but then compared to the 20 and 100. But anyway, so it was just like very snowy. I was gonna say rainy. It's not rainy. It's snow. It's snowy, right? And it was so beautiful, like, wow, so great. And then I put this commercial up, and I'm using the footage from the snow, and it was trying to sell a friend of mine's piano. And then my home was broken into a day.
Oh my goodness.
Or 2 days later.
Wow.
And whoever broke into my home knew where things were.
Oof.
I'm not saying it was him.
I didn't hear a thing.
Saying it was awfully suspicious that whoever came in knew where things were located to come in and take things.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
And then I'm like, where's my bone?
Right?
Right?
Come on, man. This better be you better be throwing me a pretty big bone after this. Come on now.
Where's my bone? Like, where's redemption?
Yeah.
Where's salvation? Where's help? Where's hope? Where's healing? Where is it?
Right.
Right.
Well,
here's what happened.
I'll tell you what. Let's save that for the other side of the break. Let's leave them on a cliffhanger.
Here.
That's good. Right. That's right. There's hope coming, guys. Seriously. I hope you guys are taking notes on some of this, because I know that I've been in situations like this. I know you have. So I hope you're listening. This is awesome. This is going to be an awesome ending. I can tell. It's going to be a great story. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. We'll hear the rest of it right after this.
Hey there. Every time someone comes into your business or website and uses their card to pay, a percentage of that gets folded back into the system. But it can go to Hydro with Hope instead. If you'd like your business to support us rather than feed back into the system, scan the QR code, and we'll show you how to do that while saving your business money.
Hi, I'm Jake, co-founder and CEO of One Hope. My friends and I started this company in 2007 out of the back of this truck on a mission to enrich people's lives through wine. Today, we've grown into a state-of-the-art Napa Valley winery that proudly houses a portfolio of award-winning wines which have touched lives through over 40,000 nonprofits at home and around the globe. And it's happening every day. Being rooted in local communities and contributing to initiatives that uplift neighborhoods, celebrate cultures, and promote community. It's what got us here. You see, through every bottle sold, your purchase can make a direct impact on the causes you care about. One Hope's cause of choice has given back over $10 million and counting.
Hey friends, this is Ben Hummel. I'm the host of the Genius Way Show, where you'll learn to access your inner gifts, talents, and callings, and how to express them out in the world. Join me here each Sunday at noon Pacific time on the Achieve TV network, right here on E360 TV.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And by the way, if you're finding this interesting and you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta talk to this guy. He sounds amazing. I have questions. Here's where you do it right here. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, super easy to comment. Just throw a comment in there and say, Stephen, this is ringing a bell. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Or I know somebody that maybe is, anything. If you want to ask him questions about the stories he's telling, I don't know, whatever. If you want to get in touch with him, here's how you do it. So love to have you in touch with Stephen, because he's awesome, which is why he's here. So, okay, Stephen, we left on kind of a cliffhanger there.
Okay.
Where do we go from here?
Okay, so let's see. Okay. So anyway, when my home was broken into, right? Mm-hmm. I remember my wife and I were just coming off of like a really happy, joyful time. Like, oh, this is great. I don't remember what we were doing but it was fun, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And we pull up to our house and the door's wide open. She's like, "Did you forget to lock the door?"
Oh, no.
And I'm with our kids, and I'm like, "No." And I went, "Oh no!" And I walk in, and the door split on the frame, and my TV's gone, and I am looking around for my stuff, and my laptop is missing, and there's just a lot of things that are just gone.
Mm.
And I was like, "Really?
Got to be kidding me."
Yep. Call the sheriff's department, because we live in county, so there's not like the police aren't necessarily going to show up, but the sheriff shows up, and the guy's like, "All right, I'm going to clear your house and make sure you're safe and make sure everything's fine." And we're like, "Oh my goodness.
Right.
This is not a good day." And there is no lack of a better word. This is not a good day. It's not a good day. Anyway, we're going around. He's taking fingerprints. I'm like, surely we can find a suspect.
They gotta find something. Yeah.
Nothing.
Ugh.
Nothing.
Come on.
Nothing. Nobody was ever caught. No one was ever prosecuted.
Wow.
Now, people would look at that and say, "Where's the bone?"
Right.
Here it is. The biggest lesson that I have learned is things that are happening around you are always happening for you. It doesn't matter what it is. Now, that's a hard pill to swallow for people. Like, what do you mean what do you mean everything is happening for me? I literally mean everything is happening for you. I literally mean everything is happening for your benefit. I literally mean everything that is happening around you is not to hurt you, but it's to give you a hope in the future. And even in its worst, most terrible pieces and worst, most terrible times, what's actually happening is you are being allowed to experience hardship, pain, things, not because you are to be destroyed through it, but because you are to be refined through it and become the best version of yourself possible. Nice. Because you can choose to be angry, you can choose to be bitter, you can choose to hate God, hate people, you can choose to let the worst parts of yourself manifest. But the problem is that you are going to become the monster that you hated. Every person that has ever done an injustice to you, every person that has ever attacked you, every person that has ever persecuted you or done all unjust things to you, if you let yourself become bitter, angry, if you let yourself become unforgiving, if you let yourself become just like you grit your teeth and just like, I wish the death of this person, that kind of thing, you are now the monster that they are. Because someone did that to them, which is what turned them into that. And then they manifested in such a way to hurt you. Like then they started just saying, screw everything. I'm just going to hurt everybody because I don't care anymore. Nothing matters to me anymore. There's no point to anything, anywhere, anytime. I am just angry. I'm just wanting to see the world burn. It's not worth it. It's not worth losing your soul in the process. It really isn't. It's not worth you becoming the monster that you purport to hate. It's not worth you becoming the person that is who people warn each other about. It's not worth it.
Well, and God is a God of restoration, right? That's the end of the story, I think, is
actually here's the thing. There's actually no end of the story. Now, what does that mean? What do you mean there's no end of the story?
What does that mean?
Yeah, because in our culture, in our conditioning, we are conditioned to believe that there's always going to be this happy ending that's going to, and they lived happily ever after, right? Like that's always the end of the story. And what you come to realize is the journey is the story.
Yeah.
The journey is the experience. The journey is the path. There is actually not supposed to be, quote unquote, an end to the story. There's only supposed to be the journey that you're on, the path that you're experiencing, and the joy. And I use the word joy. And the joy that comes from the pain. What do you mean the joy that comes from the pain? How does joy come from pain?
Right.
Joy comes from pain because you start to realize that God really, really, really loves you. And he's loving you through the situation. He's loving you through the process. Because in the end, what he's really trying to do is he's just trying to talk to you.
He's trying to get your attention.
Yeah, but not in the way of like because you're evil and you're wrong and because you're a bad person. On the contrary, he's trying to get your attention because he wants to have a relationship with you. He wants to commune with you. He wants to talk to you. He wants to go back and forth with you. He wants to have this conversation where it's a conversation of love. We can't affect the bad that happens around us. And people have been sold a bad bill of goods about God, that he is somebody that can make everything stop that is ever bad and wrong and evil. And yes and no, because there's much more explanations to that. And
that's a big story right there you just opened up. Yeah.
If anybody wants to hop on a Bible study, I do one every Thursday. More than welcome to join.
There you go.
We have enough bandwidth on Zoom. But it is to say this. It is to say that there is a gentle, loving, beautiful creator who is bent on your restoration.
Nice.
And that's what I've learned. I've stopped pursuing destinations. I've stopped pursuing like I've arrived. Yeah. And now I just walk. And that's the part where you start to see there's so many beautiful things if we just slow down and walk.
Yeah.
And stop trying to get somewhere. Because you are already there where you need to be.
Well, I think that's why it's a light to your path and a lamp to your, what is it? A light to your feet and a lamp to your path, not a 5,000 lumen flashlight to your feet and a floodlight to your path, because otherwise you wouldn't have to, there's a reason for that. Oh my gosh. What a story. I love it.
Thank you.
And it's continuing. It's still going.
It is still going.
You're still here. So
I'm still here. Yeah. And there's lately, especially, there's just been beautiful things that God has been showing me through situations and people.
I love it.
And and I know not everybody believes in God. I know not everybody has my faith, and I'm fine with that.
Sure.
All I can tell you is this is what I know based on the firsthand experience of my faith and based upon the firsthand experience of my experience with God, that there's just such power and beauty
Right.
And I am blessed to have a different brain. When does it have its moments of disability? Yes.
Of course.
Oh, yes. But it also has its moments where it's like, this is not the disabling part of this. This is the empowering part.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. Yeah, it's all about perspective, man. And you've developed an amazing one. And
Thank you.
it's a good thing. Good thing. Keep it up, man.
Thank you.
It's good.
Appreciate
Well,
it.
we got about a minute left, maybe two.
Mhm.
Is there what would you like to leave our audience with in those last couple minutes?
Don't be afraid. You can't control what you can't control, and trying desperately to control that which you can't control just leads to more pain and harm. That's the thing. Not everything that's painful is harmful. Not everything that is harmful is painless. And if you are spending your life avoiding pain, you might be avoiding the very thing that's going to build you.
Yeah.
If you spend your life thinking that pain is always harmful, you are being harmed by that thought.
Yeah.
And
It's true.
instead, as I say here, learn to hug the cactus.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Well, everybody, I feel like that's a pretty common expression. Learn to hug the cactus. Nobody wants to hug the cactus, though.
Learn to hug the
Yeah.
cactus.
No. Oh my gosh. But it can be so redeeming to do that.
To hug the cactus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Oh my gosh.
There you
Stephen,
go.
thank you so much, man. Thank you for
Welcome,
being
Jeff.
here and for everything you're doing with me and for me during this process. We're working together on some stuff, and I'm so appreciative for you and for everything that you're doing to help us out. And just keep up the good work, man. And thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, man. Okay. I hope you guys were learning something or taking notes or something. If you didn't learn something, back it up and watch it again, because you will. Stephen's pretty awesome. And so, all right, everybody, thank you for being here. I'm so glad that you were here with us today. Thank you so much. If you are watching on, Facebook, YouTube, E360 TV, we love you all. It's all good. If this is your first episode, welcome. If this is your 100th episode, thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing our show with us. And if you like one of our episodes in particular, share it out, man. Go to YouTube and share it out. It's probably going to be somebody else's favorite. They just don't know it yet. So thank you so much for being here. Our next show will be on March 25th, which I believe is I think 25th is a Tuesday. Tuesday, March 25th will be our next episode. And so thank you for being here. And I look forward to seeing you on March 25th. Have an amazing day. We'll see you soon.